to hi everybody in the now group. I am so sorry we are a little bit late today. Totally my fault. Mary's been sitting here waiting for her. Patience of a saint. Thank you, Mary. So, what is this all about? Why am I here? Well, it is exactly that. It is about you, the members of Now, sitting here with me for 15 minutes every day for 100 days. And am I on 83 or 84 today? I can't remember. I've lost track. Like we've all kind of lost track of everything at the moment. So what I'm going to do, because I know that anybody who's read the introduction wants to know how Mary can help us with our gut. And I'm really looking forward to finding out about what the 5 stages are. So over to you, Mary. Who are you and what do you do?
Great. Thanks, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Cotter. I'm a nutritional therapist, and I help people identify what's at the heart of their gut health issues quickly and effectively so they can find the freedom to love life again. And what I found is really, like, when people come to me, they have been struggling usually for years. They've been around all the houses. I'm usually the last person they come and speak to. And often what happens is they've read certain things online, or they've had different tips from different friends. Oh, try this, try that. So when they do finally come and see me, often what I realize is they've been cutting out certain foods for years. And, often when I work with people on a one-to-one basis, we do start by removing certain trigger foods. It's helpful to identify what your trigger foods are if you have digestive problems or bloating or gas or, kind of irregular bowel movements. But really, when you remove a trigger food, what you're doing is you're reducing the inflammatory load on your body, which is great. But that's just step one. So you want to remove the trigger food, but then while you're doing that, because often that can be quite challenging, especially if you love, say, dairy or you love bread, you want to put things in place so that ultimately in about, say, 3 to 6 months' time, you're in a much better place and you're going to be able to reintroduce some of those foods. Yeah. So my job, I suppose, really is to help people break those stages down into manageable chunks that are achievable in 3 to 6 months. And I help them do it in stages. So stage 1, like I said, we might do a food diary and we might remove the trigger foods, or we'll do testing to help guide the whole process. But then we also want to be replacing stuff. So things like stomach acidity, digestive enzymes. We want to be re-inoculating. We want to be putting in good bacteria, but we also want to be removing bad bacteria in the gut. So looking at herbs and looking at nutrients that we can use to address the balance of good and bad bacteria in the gut. And also lifestyle, because the gut and our mood are very, very closely linked. So if people have anxiety or they're under a huge amount of stress or they're juggling all sorts of things, which many of us are, that can impact their gut. So it's looking at, helping them make lifestyle changes or using techniques, like even really simple breathing techniques and mindfulness to help switch off that stress response, because that can also have a calming effect on the gut. So the 5 stages, if I'm going to name them, is remove, replace, repair, re-inoculate, re-imbalance. And that's basically my job. If I was working with somebody one-to-one, I usually work with them for a minimum of 3 months, and I take them through that whole process. And I think, often people are looking for a quick fix. They might think, I'll just go and see a nutritionist for 1 appointment and I'll get everything sorted. But the body doesn't work like that. It's not medicine, like it's not a drug. It's not going to give you a quick fix. So really, if you decide to work with a nutritionist, you kind of need to be in a place where you have the headspace and the time to invest fully. And I suppose that, I'm here to help. So when people do work with me, there's lots of support. There's calls in between face-to-face sessions. So they're certainly not alone. And it's great to be able to break steps down into manageable.
Yes, absolutely, because it's easier to understand. And I like what you said about the 3 months, because, I mean, what has happened to our body, what's happened to our gut, hasn't just happened overnight.
No, exactly. That's so true. Like, it's definitely a journey, and it takes a while. Everything has a knock-on effect. So, like when I first see someone as well, we go through their case history and their medical history, and we're going back years looking at what might have happened when you were traveling abroad on your gap year. You might have picked up a bacteria or a pathogen or something along the way that you're only now kind of thinking about and reflecting on, and kind of, there's a light bulb moment that, oh, actually my gut problems kind of started around then. And it just helps guide the whole process. But yeah, it's not an overnight. Yeah.
Right. When you said there about going back in history, I have IBS, but it's not dramatic, but I do know exactly when it happened, and that was when I was in a stressful relationship. So going back like you do, it is a story. It is a light bulb moment. It's that, oh my God, yeah, that's what happened there. And your stages aren't just dealing with, oh, there goes the scarf, aren't just dealing with your diet, or you're dealing with a lifestyle. And that, in my mind, is what creates all this, is it not?
Yeah, and I think as well, being able to identify that trigger is part of the healing process, because often when you're going to the doctor, if things are really bad and you've had all the tests and the GP is like, no, you're fine, like it's just IBS or it's just X, Y, or Z, that's not helping that person. They're kind of left feeling overwhelmed and left feeling like it's maybe in their head, or they're making a big deal out of nothing. And then they go on to kind of normalize symptoms that actually aren't normal. So I think if somebody has the opportunity to work with a nutritionist, it is really healing to be able to go back, look at what has happened over the years, kind of, and identify where things have maybe, where you've hit a rough patch, or there's been an imbalance, or there's been like a stressful incident. And you can work back from that then and put things in place to support the person, instead of feeling like you're going crazy or you just have to live with it, because there's so much we can do to support our digestion. So yeah, there's no need, hopefully, for people to feel like that.
To suffer, because you do suffer. And when you're talking there about the different steps, I'm sure you see lots of personalities changing over the 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's encouraging, if they, usually, let's say after the first session, we might just trial, say, a gluten and dairy free. This is just an example. And I think often they feel like they've tried lots of things. They're not always sure, but it's very reassuring when they come back in a month and they're like, oh my goodness, like I'm not having to run, the urgency is gone, or I'm not having to worry about finding a loo when I'm out, or, even if it's just being better at cooking from scratch or having meal ideas, because that's the other thing, like lack of time and lack of like a routine, just helping people with meal plans and prepping is huge, and that then takes the stress off as well, so that has a knock-on effect, and it really helps remove a lot of the overwhelm. It just gives people time, and it's great because for me as well, we often need to tweak things as we go along because obviously everybody's gut is completely unique to them. So there's no one diet for everybody. It really needs to be personalized. And I think having that time scale really gives us time to make little changes as we go along. So if gluten-free isn't working and you're still having symptoms, then we can check in and we can say, right, that's maybe not what's going on. Let's look at testing, or let's trial looking at enzymes and stomach acidity and working on different, like we've got time. And I think that's the game changer, really.
Absolutely. And you mentioned good and bad bacteria. Quickly, can you explain, like, what is that?
Sure. So the gut is huge, but when we talk about the gut, we're really referring to the large intestine, where the bulk of the bacteria reside. And good bacteria or friendly bacteria are bacteria that have like they help us digest food, they help keep our bowel nice and regular, they have a balancing effect, they're anti-inflammatory, they support gut health.
Wow.
The bad bacteria might be something that we've picked up while we've been traveling, or if we've had years of like poor diet, lots of alcohol, too much partying, or we've been really unwell, so we've had to use antibiotics or medications that interfere with the balance of good and bad. And the other thing, I suppose, is if we have a very high sugar diet, that then interferes with that balance of good and bad. So you want to create an environment in your gut that helps the good bacteria to flourish and the bad bacteria to be kept to a minimum. So there's helpful foods that support that system. So you might have heard of fermented foods or probiotics. Fermented foods are foods that have been aged so that the microbes that are naturally on a cabbage, for instance, have time to multiply. So then when you eat the sauerkraut, which is a fermented cabbage, you're then consuming many more bacteria and yeast that are helpful to the gut.
Okay. Right. I'm a great lover of kombucha.
I love kombucha. Oh my God. I think as well, at the moment when we're all stuck indoors, like the temptation is to drink probably a little bit more wine than we normally have during the week. So I find having kombucha in the house actually great. If you pour it into a wine glass, it's quite a nice treat on a Friday if you're watching your alcohol intake. So
It's easy to make as well. I've got a hotel. If anybody doesn't know, a kombucha hotel is when the Scorbies, they create themselves. We won't go into that. This is not for this. But they're just like little people there, and they just multiply up by looking at them.
It's freaky, yeah. I don't know how that works. Who invented that? How did that come about? So weird.
It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I mean, I have a little, well, I've got them all over the place, but I actually have cut up a Scorbie, which I hated doing, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It doesn't have a heart. And I'll go and I'll sort of just pick every now and again and eat them, and it's fabulous. Yeah. So Mary, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I know through your website, there's courses you've got, there's one-to-ones, there's even a cookery course that you have on the go as well.
Yeah, when the whole kind of lockdown started, I just really wanted to make sure I was still able to create, like, have that community feel and for everyone to feel connected. And I was running these gut health events called Learn to Love Your Gut in Edinburgh. And I had to obviously postpone the one that was coming up in March. So I just decided instead we would have a Facebook group and I would do monthly cook along live. So people would get a list of ingredients in advance. They'd come into the group, we'd cook along together live, and then they get the recipes afterwards. So far it's been going well. Like, I ask people kind of what they want to cook. So the first one was kind of soups, and this month we did batch cooking dinners. So the next one's the 1st of May. I don't know what the topic is yet, but yeah, if anybody's interested in taking part, just join my Facebook group, the Gut Health Club.
I'll pop along and I'll join that, because it would be great to do a cook along. So yeah, lots and lots of information there for everybody on how to heal your gut. And just, I mean, like I say, my kombucha there helps me enormously, but I'm going to go and I'm going to actually learn how to cook what suits me. So even though we are over our 15 minutes, I'm in the 80s here of doing these Facebook Lives, and I still haven't been able to condense it to the 15 minutes. So I ask everybody a different question. And for Mary, I'm going to ask you is, what, according to you, was the best invention in the last 50 years?
Like, for me, there is only one answer, and I feel like it has to be the internet, because God knows where we would be right now without it. Like, I rely so much on it for business. We wouldn't be here speaking today probably if we didn't have the internet. And I think it's just, now especially, it's so helpful for preventing loneliness and just keeping people safe, isn't it? So
it is.
Yeah, I can't imagine life without it anymore.
Oh God, I'd be lost. I mean, and my son lived in a place in this day and age where he couldn't get the internet, and I thought, how? I know, because he was in a dip. He lived in a dip, so it wouldn't pick up. Oh, no way. So when I go looking for somewhere, I must have internet. So thank you very much for that, Mary. Very interesting. So everybody, now that's the end of another Facebook Live. It's all about you. And as I mentioned, I'm coming to the end. I'm all booked up for the rest of April and even the 9 days in May. So interesting. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll catch you again tomorrow in the Now group. So I'm going to say goodbye, and Mary will.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.